Alright, guys, we're back. Freshly showered Betty. Freshly showered Betty. I feel much better now that I've had an opportunity to get the mop freshly washed. I don't know who's out there. We're on this channel. We're on this channel because it's just easier that way. Hey, 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 hey. So we were just on the main channel, but I needed to get a shower. I needed to wind down. I was going to take a nap, and I chose to get a shower instead of the nap. And so now I decided to come live on this channel. We haven't been on this channel in a while. So, hey guys. I know you guys just left me on the other channel, but oh well. You guys get freshly showered Betty. I don't know where the red tint on here is coming from. There's nothing red behind me. It's just weird. That's weird. Guess it's the lighting in here. Oh well. Oh well. Hey, who do we have? Rebecca, Cheyenne, Izzy, B. Betty, Outer Banks, Connie, Rebecca, Randa, Vermont girl. It's nice to see you, Vermont girl. I hope you're doing well. I'm just doing things behind my screen. It doesn't really have anything to do with Jack and Lily. It's just something that takes up the screen behind me so you guys don't see anything else. I love it. I love it. But just got out of the shower, all freshly showered, in my PJs, PJ Ammy. I'm in PJ Ammy. And don't feel like, well, I do feel like working, but I still need to wind down. I just got off the plane, got the car, got in here, just took my shower, just ate. So I figured I'd come on here and say hi to you guys since I felt like I rushed the last one. It kind of sucks though, you know, as far as Hulk Hogan, and I know everybody was just raving about him in the other chat. Oh, hey Kendra, BJ Boop, it's nice to see you. I'm doing well. Doing well. Just got out of the shower, as you can see. Freshly showered. At least you know at least I'm not stinking, okay? We're not stinky Betty. Great cry with Grace. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. I'm just trying to unwind so I can get my head right, get my head back into the game. I'm very, very, very exhausted, as you guys can imagine. Yes, I have not been on much. We just moved. I miss you all. Oh, we just moved. I hope I can move soon. I'm so tired of my house. I've been house shopping. I've been house shopping literally everywhere. Some of the places I'm looking for a nice, cheap place to live is somebody ain't gonna be happy. Where I'm in Illinois. I don't know where I'm in Illinois. I flew into Chicago International, and I picked a spot, but it didn't say it was as far away from Chicago Airport as it ended up being, but oh well, the further the better. You know me, I'm fine. Aw, thanks, King, for the flower. I appreciate it. God bless you. Hey, Faye. Yeah, I know. I decided, because you know if I ran on the other channel, you guys wouldn't even have gotten notified. So I figured I wasn't done with my conversation. I just needed to shower. That's all I needed. I was just, you know, when you travel, it really wasn't that bad either, because I'm a non-flight person. I mean, the only time I can't get direct flights from point A to point B as if I'm going to the east coast of the United States. That's the only ones. Like, we have no direct flights, say, to Idaho from Florida, okay? It's always, you got to go here and then go here. And so there's always a layover for those further away spots. But this one was a straight shot. And I could have, I had like three different airports I could have gone from, you know, straight over here, but it was only like 3.5 hours or something like that to get here. But it was more than that, because you have to arrive at the airport 2 hours before, which I did, because I usually don't park at the airport, but this time I did. And so I needed to find out where my parking was. I ended up paying the additional money to be in the garage, so the car's not out just cooking in the heat, which doesn't make sense. It's only for a couple of days. It would literally stay parked in front of my house in the heat, baking in the heat, So why I paid the extra money, I really don't know. I just felt right at the time, so that's what I did. And what else? My brain's just starting to go chug-a-lug. It just doesn't want to. But everything went well. Got on the plane. You got there 2 hours early, but it's not that. It's Chicago. I hate Chicago Airport. I absolutely hate it. They've got signs everywhere, and you have no clue where you're going. Just like that. They literally have signs everywhere, and you have no clue where you're going. Because they do like A, B, C, D, and E. But no. They also do things like ground transport and show you a bus, okay? Well, that ground transport with the bus, you've got to go down this stair, up this stair 2 layers. Then you got to go over this embankment, down these stairs all the way to the bottom. Then you got to come up 2 levels, get on a tram. You got to drive. Lion. And there's no signs for that. So I'm like, every few feet, I'm walking and saying, where's the rental cars? It seems like it would be very simple. And they're like, well, there's all these signs. Excuse me, sir. I have stopped and read every sign. There is no sign that says rental car. I've been in airports across the United States of America, and I always see a thing that says rental car. Well, here's the crazy thing. They don't bother telling you that there's rental cars until you get all the way to the end. And then once you manage to migrate with the group of people, not knowing where the flip you're going with all these damn signs all over the airport, none of them saying rental, them saying bad claims, them saying transport, them saying taxis, but no rentals. That's how Rhode Island Airport is. I'm looking at the signs. I'm stopping and reading the signs. I read English. The signs are in English, and they still don't give you any direction. That is the Chicago International Airport. Sounds about like Chicago, I think. I don't know. I haven't been here long enough to know. If I disrespect Chicago, I'm sorry. I haven't been here long enough to to get to know you. But I can tell you it's not my cup of tea. Just coming in here, I can tell you this is not, I am not a Chicago girl, okay? I can just tell you right now, just not. And you know what? I have not met, no, I shouldn't say that. I met one person, the guy that gave me my car. He was probably the nicest and happiest person that I have seen since I've been in Chicago. I don't know what it is with the people that work for companies in Chicago. I think that their requirement is to be a grumpy biatch. I think that is literally the requirement that they're seeking when they get these people in these positions of having to deal with the public. Okay? And I gotta say, I'm just like, I just put on a smiley face, just give me my shit, let me get out of here, have a great day, you know? But like, there was this one girl sitting next to this guy. She was gorgeous. She had her hair done. She was working at the counter at this rent. But she was so beautiful and had such the shittiest attitude. Like I was just seeing, so she didn't care. Like it wasn't that she was going out of her way to be rude. It was just her demeanor, her personality when she looked like she was inconvenienced at her job. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you're dealing with somebody and they're spending your money and they seem like you're the inconvenience or causing them problems. That's what this chick was like, and I'm just like kind of looking at her and I'm like, I just like just viewing. I didn't say nothing, see something, say something, but he kept quiet. I just looked at it. Not my monkey, not my circus. But I was just thinking, you know what? I'm really glad I got the guy I got. He went around the car, he took pictures, he videotaped. He's like, you got a ding here, 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 and here. Don't worry, I've got it all notated. He had a big smile on his face. He was very pleasurable to work with. And then I see this other guy going over to the cute girl, and I'm thinking, here's your stuff. You need to be doing this, and you woo! No. Thank goodness she wasn't my check out. I don't think she would have liked Betty too much. I just said, hey, do you like your job? You don't seem like you like your job too much. Would you like me to help you out with that, babe? I've got this rep, you know. Just saying. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I was just, but honestly, by the time I got to the bus to go take me to my rental car, I was just happy to have wheels. And not only that, the kid, I got a mid-sized car. He souped me up with a freaking SUV. You know me and my SUVs, I love it. I love it. Nice guy. Like the guy. Be careful with those pretty cute girls. Just saying. Yes, it is. He's okay with it. Outer Banks, it's a requirement to work at an airport. I'm telling you, I'm just like, but it's only in Chicago. I shouldn't say only in Chicago. I shouldn't say that. No, it was Chicago, but I was at, what was the other airport that Olivia and I were at? Portland, Washington. That's the airport. Portland, Washington. No, that was Portland, Oregon. What was the one? Where did we go in Washington? Which one's the Washington one? Why am I thinking Portland, Oregon? It's not Portland, Washington. What was the one that we went into Washington? Where's Washington's airport? Which one is it? Because it was a Washington airport. Seattle. That's right. It was Seattle. That. Much like Chicago. Those people there, they are so just inconvenienced by your presence. I don't like that. And they're rude, they're nasty. I don't know. I mean, I'm not cool with being treated like that or talked to like that when you spend as much money as you spend in an airport. I don't know about you, but that's just not my cup of tea. And the airport here, like TIA, even at Sarasota, St. Petersburg, I have never, ever had a problem with anyone just being nasty at any of those. So I don't understand what the problem is, but I had no problems with anybody. Nobody gave me attitude on this. I got through, got checked in. You know, I had a small bag, didn't bring a whole lot with me, so no problems in check-in. They didn't even make me take my flip-flops off because they were flip-flops. I didn't, you know. I think that's the key. If you guys are going to go through the airport and don't want to take your nasty, you walk on that nasty floor, flip-flops. They didn't make me take my flip-flops off. They made people, anytime the shoes were covered, they took them off and put them through the machine. But it seemed to me that everybody that was wearing flip-flops were being able to go through. I mean, you know, flip-flops are, what are you going to hide in a flip-flop? I mean, if they're really concerned about a nail file or something like that in a flip-flop, I mean, you could literally get away with that in your purse. So they announced you don't have to take them off anymore. Well, they were taking people's shoes off and throwing them in the bin, because I watched some loafers be taken off. Did you see the 3-year-old from Birmingham, Alabama, who's left in the car for 5 hours? A DHR worker and died. Oh my God. No, I did not see that. Who knows? But you know what I did see? I did see 2 stories. One that I cannot cover. I'm gonna throw it up here because I think I got the pictures of them. Right there. All you need to do is type this person's name right here into Google. Dalton Terrell into Google. It's enough to make you nauseous. All 3 of these. All 3 of these men. Disgusting. I can't even discuss the case. It's that disgusting. These were not people that were in possession of material. These are the people that make the material. This, like, I think men like that, I think that there shouldn't be lethal injection. I think it should be a gun range. I'm sorry. Anybody that hurts an innocent child, one of their victims, from my understanding, 3. I think it was 3 to 11. And this one over here that's cut off, this guy right here, He was the ST person. He was not the one of engagement. These two are engagements. He was the one that supplied. Sick. Read this story. Can't discuss it on any platform. Well, I mean, I could discuss it. It's just going to take some massive amount of sanitization of words in order to make it work. I can't make this story work because you know me, I'm going to say it like it is. I'm not a sugarcoater. I can't run the story. But what I can do is put this man's face up on my screen and tell you guys all to go to your Google and type in Dalton Terrell. And whenever you're done, you can go throw up, brush your teeth, and then come back. They now have 7 in custody, including 2 moms. I don't know what's wrong with people. I'm sorry. I don't know how that is attractive. How that is... Ugh, just the thought of it makes me want to vomit. I see nothing attractive in little kids. Okay? You know what I see in little kids? I see beauty. I see love. I see innocence. I see curiosity. I don't see objects. I see human beings that have a right to thrive. I don't see why they don't start going after these people for civil rights violations. I mean, instead of just the criminal aspect, like literally just take them for a walk every which way but Sunday. Make it to where if they ever do get out, they're going to be paying back restitution so long and so hard they'll never be able to be anything. As a matter of fact, when it comes to this specific type of crime, I'm all for execution. Brutal. I am a barbarian. Don't ever mistake who I am. I am a barbarian when it comes to the children. A barbarian. I'm beyond an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Like I want to see gore from the assaulters, from the people that do this. Like I want it to be public. I want old time Times Square public hanging. When did we get so nice with evil? When did we stop doing town square hangings? Why? It was so effective. How many thieves do you think were had back in them days? You think we had a lot of thieves? No. You know why? Because they were missing a hand. I'm barbaric. Because I feel sometimes barbarianism is what controls the masses. Because the only way you're going to control evil is meeting it with a much different type of... I want to say you've got to match evil with evil, but it's not evil. It's not. You're matching evil with its match. Because in order to extinguish evil, it's got to be a lot of love, but a lot of love is a lot of brutal. I'm with you on that, eye for an eye. Read the story. If that doesn't make you want to make sure that there's a firing range in every single state, I don't know what will. But I truly believe that should be the only punishment for them. I don't think living in a cell for 30 or 40 years or you know, going to get a hood put over your head. No, I don't want a hood. I want you eyeball to eyeball. But you know what? At the end of the day, I would then have to worry about the people that have to carry out these. It's not fair to them. You know, that's their job. But it's not fair to them. Somebody has to do it. But I can guarantee you the person that's doing that is probably the furthest person from wanting to do that. If they harm a child, inmates do not have sympathy for them. We had a guy here who was harming girls in the home, sent to prison, not there long. He is no more. Inmates serve justice. Well, you got to remember, a lot of those inmates are in there because they got drug problems and substance abuse problems because of their childhood trauma that they're drowning out. And some of their childhood trauma that led their life into that very place started with people just like this. And what happens is you're a young kid, you don't know how to deal with it. And as you start getting older, you try to find outlets, coping, and you don't realize that's what it is. In your mind, you're not realizing why you're doing these things. Your body's just kind of doing these things, you know? But it's because of all the stresses that you're dealing with. Luckily, other prisoners, what if they're rich? Yeah. Well, I look at all those disgusting, like I started looking, that Dorwich guy, the attorney, Alan Dorwich, I think is what his name is, Dorsky or something like that, I can't remember his name. He's President Donald Trump's attorney at one time, and really, really smart, bright guy. Well, he was also an attorney for Epstein. He was also accused of some of the stuff, which ended up turning out not to be true. The person who had recanted on certain topics. But he dropped some names of politicians that had been out there that were brought up in some transcripts and stuff like that from his representation of Jeffrey Epstein. And I went and looked up those people, and they make my skin crawl. But you looked at their eyes and you knew, right when you seen all three of their photos, two were from the United States, one was some guy from the UK, I believe. But Alan had put their names in this piece, so I cut and pasted their names out of this piece and looked them up, but it's their eyes. I looked at all three of them, and I'm like, this is not a business deal. You can see it. You can see it on their smug faces that they would be a diddler. Like, I could see that. I could envision it. I could see it with all of them. They made my skin crawl. And I just thought, you know, those girls, seeing that, no young girl wants that. Cut it out. Left and right royalty. Lots of bad juju. That's why I said, you know, I want to know what happened. And I don't really care what anybody says. I'm not too worried. I know everybody's like, well, Trump's been, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. You want to know why I'm not worried about it? Is because I know darn well if Trump was anywhere in there at all other than business dealings, they would have had that stuff plastered all over this for the last 4 years prior to this last election. You know damn well they would have. That's why I'm not worried about it. Because they hated Donald Trump so much. If they had one scintilla of legitimate information, they would have never used the Steele dossier. Period. That's how I know. I don't need to be convinced. That's truly how I know. So I'm not really worried about what comes out, and I think that I think America's ready for the Epstein files. I really do. I think America's ready for them. I think it's long overdue. But the problem is with the Epstein files, in my opinion, is they are corrupted. You know, you got to think major people that had gone to that island were involved in our politics and had access to all that information for a really long time to destroy it, manipulate it, and massage it any way they wanted to. And that's what they did. And I knew that that's why this has been such a weird position. I knew that that's what it was, because Donald Trump was so gung-ho on letting this out. Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, Bondi, you know, they were all, in all fairness, they were all excited about this, the opportunity to finally share this with the world. And so when I started seeing the reluctance, you know what? I knew exactly what happened. They got a big old smiley face in that folder with a big, you know what. When she opened it, I think she put her foot in her mouth because she thought she had the files. She knew that she had called them to bring the files up, to bring them to her. She saw it. She never, I really don't believe she cracked the spine on it and she had made her statement, and when she went and cracked the spine on it, she knew it was all bullshit. And now they're in a pickle where they know that somebody has manipulated and manufactured that file so much so that it's unrealistic. And I think that's why they're forcing all those hearings about this very thing, is because they want an official record. I think the record has been so messed up from all the politicians that were a part of that crap out there. I think they had their minions inside doing damage control behind the scenes. And now that we're ready to see it, the file's open, and it's like, this is not legitimate. This cannot be turned over, because all they're going to be doing is perpetrating more lies they handed out to the American people, because they know it's not true. So I think that's why they figure they're at their wits' end. What do? The American people are wanting the Epstein files. They know the Epstein files have been manipulated and tarnished. And so I think they're doing the best thing that they can do at this point, and that's, let's bring everybody in and have everybody put under oath and find out what the hell happened and be done with it. Now we'll have an official record. It'll be on the record. There's no secrets. Everybody will know everything. Let's do this. It sounds like Ghislaine Maxwell is on board with it. As many of you know, she's trying to go to the Supreme Court and have her sentence overturned, and she may very well have a good standing. I did not realize the situation in her particular case. The situation in her particular case is that Jeffrey Epstein protected her. When he started opening up with the feds, he made a plea arrangement with the feds to protect Ghislaine Maxwell and other people, but predominantly Ghislaine. And if I'm saying her name right, I think I'm saying her name right. But they ended up turning around and taking her to court and throwing her into jail anyways. And I don't think they could have. If there is truly this agreement, then I think our federal government was wrong for doing so. They should have never made the agreement. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think she deserves to be in jail. I think she deserves to be in jail. However, if our federal government makes a deal with somebody for them to open their mouth, and they honor that deal, they can't later go in and screw that deal up and go in and arrest her. Because the caveat was he was opening up on the reliance of our federal government not messing with Ghislaine. And when they did, then that, I think she may, depending on if this agreement really does exist, if there really was an agreement, guys, I think she's going to get out. And again, she shouldn't be out, but that was the deal our federal government made. And our federal government should have never made that deal if they were not planning on honoring it. I'm one of these people, you say something, you follow through. I expect that from our federal government, because our federal government has to wheel and deal a lot. And if you're going to make a deal with somebody and renege on that deal, every time that you make one, people are not going to be getting into deals because they're worried about it being pulled out from under them. And that's what Ghislaine is saying. It's stuff of nightmares. Yes, it is. I've heard some of the stories. It's hard to believe. But more importantly, some of the people that Epstein was associated with, the artists, there were some pictures that I know in my heart were images that he drew because he saw them. And this was not a fictional picture. And to see, he painted it. It was horrid. It's a boys hanging bound with stains on their bottoms ends on the outside of their underwear, all in a row. And that was art for somebody and in somebody's home, which I find absolutely appalling. But I truly believe that there was an image like that man saw and painted. And that breaks my heart. Because there's places like that. I pray to God something like that is not going on in the United States of America, but there's still children around this world that are being abused in that way, horrifically, bound, gagged, blood, covers over their eyes, hanging from, it's sad, and it happens all over. Oh well, but hopefully we'll get to the bottom of the Epstein file. I think if I had to figure out, based on everything I'm seeing, and I observe people's behaviors, that's really how I get a lot of my intel. It's not because I got, this secret source, barking in my ear and this, that, and the other. I'm just I analyze a lot of behaviors. And it was I couldn't figure out, I was wondering, why is this hesitation? And so I was pondering, I was going through kind of like what we do with our true crime, going through the possible theories, and I was starting to come up with several theories that it could be, even things that I didn't want to think about, but, looking at all the theories and hatching them out. And then, of course, when they're wanting to bring everybody into the judiciary, or whatever the Senate, whatever they're going to do, subpoenaing them to be heard and to give testimony before whatever committee, that's when it kind of solidified for me. Their record is so screwed up that that if they do send out a record to the public, it's going to be a faulty record. So I know that they want their record accurately detailed. And so I think that this is going to be a step in the right direction to finally get those. We'll see. I mean, there's no guarantees here, folks, You know me. I'm a MAGA supporter. You guys know where I come from. I don't try to force feed it down your throat. But at the end of the day, I still want to see this. I want to know. I want to know myself. There's been a lot of people, a lot of support that Donald Trump has from people just like me that support our president, but we still are standing strong on these are children. I mean, we're not talking about a bad deal or, a sleazy, S worker, an adult escort, or a sexy, mistress or something like that. We're talking about children. And that's not okay with me. We can cover, I can play politics all day long. I do it well. I can play it all day long. I know how to do this. I know how to rock it out. I do this all over the country. But there's nothing that's going to allow me to take my focus off the children, because people's lives were destroyed. We've watched one lady just lose her life from self-inflicted homicide or self-harm. And that's what that lifestyle did to her. How many more like her that we didn't know about, that didn't make it to the trial, that were abused, that were silenced? How many more were there? We will never know. There were a lot. But God bless her. God bless her. May she rest in peace. I can't imagine. She obviously was living a nightmare, inside her own head. Sometimes people don't understand, but sometimes, But these people damaged a lot of people, and I'm glad that it's been exposed, but we all know it's not ending. I mean, this is a prime example to show you that this kind of stuff is not ending. I want to know how these people got money to do what they did, how they got a person to tee these people in. Like, what the heck? What the heck? All right, guys, I do now. I believe in Trump. We will all find the truth. I believe he is innocent. I do too. I know he is. I know he is. He was, even on Oprah Winfrey back in, 1987, she was wanting him to run for president. Now all of a sudden she doesn't, because he's ran as a Republican and not a Democrat. That showed me everything I needed to see. The hypocrisy, the D and the R and what that truly means, and the elite. It doesn't mean the same thing to the rest of us. I can tell you that. I can tell you that I believe in red, white, and blue. I really don't care for our government. I'm just trying to support somebody that I think can finally get some of this nonsense stopped. But at the end of the day, I was thinking about it the other night. As far as this country has gone, I feel like there is going to be some type of unrest here on our soil. Near, because we've had some terrible people in high positions do terrible things to our country, to our middle class, to our taxpayers. They have robbed us blind for their causes. Meanwhile, I'm seeing all these people struggling. I'm hearing people can't even, it's a crime now to be homeless in certain places. It's just getting too much for me. It's getting too much for me. They're taking everything we've got and then throwing us in jail. Like, I'm seeing all these people that have no places to live because cost has gotten so high, jobs aren't producing money, and where do they go? And when they're on the street, they're getting arrested because they can't sleep here, they can't be here, they can't be here. They're a public nuisance now. Why are they a public nuisance? Because of our government. So, what the hell do you do? What the hell do you do? All right, guys, thank you for letting me get out of my head for a little bit. I think it's time for me to seriously clear my mind, and I got to start preparing for tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. is going to come very, very, very early, and I know I'm far from being prepared, and I've just got to get some. I'm just going to do a cursory review. I'm not doing a full thing. I'll have to supplement the record or something because this was a lot on me today. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I love you. I'm not going to be back on tonight. This is my last time. It's my last hurrah. I just wasn't ready to get off, so I wasn't ready to start working. I'm still not ready to start working. I'm just so freaking exhausted. So we'll do our best. That's all we can do. All right, guys, love you. God bless. We'll see you soon.